Hi and good morning. Today I'm doing a video with a bunch of mosquitoes following me, so I hope they won't bite me too much. But now, what is going on in the markets? The last video I've done is about 1 week ago or a little longer, and now we have quite some changes in the markets ongoing, meaning that we have a change in the risk score. You may know when you follow me on these videos that we track risk score with Market Peak AI. At the moment, the risk score is 54, and peak date is calculated for the 2nd of December, meaning that the bull market, according to the indicator, should end on the 2nd of December. And we have something new. We have an alert triggered. You know, we are watching 34 indicators on the Market Peak dashboard, and the first one triggered. And the first one that triggered is actually the alt season index. So the alt season index is now, I think it is over 75, meaning that we are officially in alt season since some days. And we have seen some movements already. So if you look at this famous graphic where they show you first it's Bitcoin moving, then it's L1s like Solana, Ethereum, and so on. Then it flows into alt caps and so on. We are now at the phase, I would say, that we are very soon going into altcoins. Even the altcoin indicator has triggered. We still see that we are still a very little too early. So usually this altcoin indicator needs to be active for about 1 week and stay there for 1 week, and then we should see an extended alt season. At the moment, we see very heavily Solana moving. We have touched 250 again, and we have new announcements of treasury companies. San Diego is a quite famous investor, and they are setting up a new investment company, investing, I think it is $1 billion into Solana, but it will not just be some kind of treasury company that is just holding it on the balance sheet because their business model is not functioning quite well anymore. It is a company that will actually be very active in Solana, meaning supporting the ecosystem, supporting other projects on Solana, trying to work very closely with the Solana Foundation, and they are very well connected because they are known venture capitalists in the market. So this will be very interesting and will probably catapult Solana at least to the alt highs, so the all-time highs of Solana. I'm not sure what it was. It's so long ago. I think it's around 400. You can correct me in the comments if you have the actual number in mind. So this will happen, in my opinion, in the next days. And after this, very likely, first of all, the Solana-related coins will run. Just want to show you the sunrise. It's actually very nice. You see it? So the Solana-related coins should run. And that would be, like always, the DEX. It will be Radium. It will be decentralized exchanges, Drift, for example. And it will be all on Solana, but it will also be Athena. Why is that? Because, as you may recall, we have talked about it in some other videos, Athena has got quite some Solana and Ethereum reserves. And of course, people will start to trade like crazy. And Athena, we can continue talking about Athena because there was some very exciting news going on. So first of all, Athena was accepted now on Binance. And as you may know, Binance is the biggest exchange in the world. And now users will use Athena or the stablecoin of Athena on Binance. And this will bring in loads and loads of volume. So this is very positive for Athena, because now when the bull market will start, the more confident investors are in the markets, meaning the more profits they make, the more risk on they will go. For example, if you have somebody that has invested, let's say in Solana half a year ago, he is up now a lot, right? So he will feel quite safe and he will look for more risky bets. And this he will probably do on a perpetual platform, could be a centralized one, on Bybit or whatever you can trade with leverage. But there's also Drift or other hyperliquid is now very hype. That's why it's called hyperliquid probably. We'll talk about hyperliquid in the next part of the video. So stay tuned. It's also very interesting what hyperliquid did. But what I wanted to say is, so all people will start to trade and tokens like Athena will enormously profit from that. Is it too late to get into Athena? Like I always tell you in most of the videos, I'm not too much of a fan in getting into assets at this point because you could have bought them much lower. But still you could go into some coins, and we will discuss these coins after we talked about hyperliquid. So to not let you wait too long for the coins, I will suggest let's go into the hyperliquid story. There was quite some drama around hyperliquid. If you have watched it closer on X or on, X was the main channel where you could follow it, then you would have seen that actually hyperliquid proposed or was looking for somebody for some stablecoin issuer. Meaning, at the moment, hyperliquid has got 2 billion in stablecoins on their platform, just as reserve laying around, not really benefiting the community. And if you follow the latest developments, not just in hyperliquid, but also in Pump Fun and other coins, you will notice that some of these very clever projects have changed their approach, meaning that they now reward their users even much more. Meaning that if you hold their token, I'm not sure how much it is in hyperliquid, I think it's over 80%. I know that Pump.Fun is buying back 90% of their tokens. So if they make profit, these two platforms now, we talk about hyperliquid, they buy back a lot of their own tokens, meaning the price will actually rise and rise. The more activity there's on the platform, the more the tokens holders profit. But the part with the stablecoin, they didn't profit till now because they used USTC, which is owned by Circle. So Circle made all the profits. And they want to change this now, and they will change this. And this is why they had proposals coming in from Paxos, which is a stable coin. I think they are also able to give them access to Vimeo and PayPal. Then there was Native, I forgot what it is, but it's a so to say hyperliquid insider. And then there was Athena also applying to become a stable coin, and some other stable coins. And at the end, the native one won, basically. So even Paxos and other stablecoins have proposed to give 90% or 100% of their revenue to the stablecoin to grow in market cap, they decided to have internal one. So it's called USTH, so US dollar hyperliquid, I guess. And now they decided that a local, it's not insider. I mean, you could say it was an insider decision, but what I wanted to say is that it's not directly, this company that is developing the stablecoin is not directly working for Hyperliquid, is not in the inner circle. He's an advisor. I think the guy who is running the stablecoin company is advising, or is a long-term holder or early adopter of Hyperliquid. But it's basically, I forgot what it's called, it's natives something. And they are now developing the stablecoin. And what that means for the community or for Hyperliquid first, so let's discuss the Hyperliquid side first. They are in control. That was very important for them to be in control, I guess. The downside is if you are just setting up your own stablecoin, it could be regulatory risk. So from now on, Hyperliquid has got a little regulatory risk or even more. There's two sides to it, right? So till now, they used Circle with USTC, which Circle is totally regulated. But on the other side, they are running a perp exchange where this is not regulated. They claim to be decentralized. Actually, they are quite centralized. So for an authority, it would be easy to shut them down, right? So they have a risk on the operational side because they are not really regulated in any way. I don't think this will be a problem in the next 4, 5, 6 months. And now they theoretically also have assumed they're implementing the USDH. They also have a little risk, I would say, on the stablecoin front. At least they have reduced the risk that Circle or any others could just freeze them, the funds, right? So maybe it's balanced for the stablecoin. So we will see. But what this will mean for the stablecoin or for the Hyperliquid holders is that they will profit even more from holding Hyperliquid. So let's transfer now to the coins I would suggest. So one of them suggests, I have to explain what I mean by that. So if you're not invested heavily already, if you're not positioned into the market and you want to get some coins, I can't suggest to you, I can't give financial advice, of course, but there is very hot narratives that are very common, interestingly, through all media, through all people I'm monitoring. And this is 4 tokens. One of the tokens is Hyperliquid. Hyperliquid was, I think, the first or second token that has heavily implemented these buybacks to really pump the token. Like I explained, Hyperliquid, the foundation or the DAO, I don't know how they are formatted, they are buying back, I don't know what it is, 90, 80% of their tokens. So they take away the tokens from the market and they keep it in their treasury. This automatically rises the price heavily. So you as token holder will be heavily rewarded. The second thing why I'm very bullish on Hyperliquid is that I saw 2 days ago an interview with Arthur Hayes. Arthur Hayes is the founder of BitMEX and is actually the developer, the inventor of perpetuals. Meaning that with BitMEX, he and his team, they have been the first people implementing this kind of perpetual trading. And he came out in an interview and said, he believes that Hyperliquid in the next years or months will become the biggest exchange in the world, meaning overtaking Binance. And this would mean at least a 10x, 20x for Hyperliquid. So because he is such an insider in this industry, so When Arthur Hayes says something about exchanges or some stable coins or some more complicated thing that is related to yield, economic connections with M2 money supply or something, I tend to follow Arthur Hayes' suggestion. We're also tracking Arthur Hayes' wallet, and he bought some Athena back. He has some hyperliquid on his exchanges, of course. Yeah, he has Pendle and so on. So he has some assets. This is the hyperliquid take. Then the second narrative for the second project that is really running very hot is Pump.fun. And I think they do 90% buyback. So they buy also back the tokens like hyperliquid is doing. This also rises the price. And the other advantage you have is that as soon meme coin season is starting again, they will make a lot of money. So it's basically a hedge, or if you don't want to be in one specific meme coin, if you don't want to, research all the meme coins and so on, but you want to have some profits or you want to benefit from the meme coin rally, you can actually buy Pump.fun. As soon as the meme coin season will start, they will make much more money and the money will flow to you as Pump.fun holder. This is a very interesting idea. And it's on everybody's radar, right? So everybody's going into that. One more is Pingu. Pingu, I don't really like this penguin. I don't think it's made very nicely. It's a little strange, but okay. A lot of people have profile pictures changed to the penguins, to the Pingu. You can buy it in Walmart. And the team seems to be very clever or very into marketing. And they also have accumulated loads and loads of money. And so this is a project where I think will also do very, very well because they have offline connection and they do a lot in the industry. They're very, very good connected and so on. One thing I forgot with Pump.fun is that they are actually now starting to be a streaming or social media, let's say a streaming portal. And they have already overtaken Rumble in streaming hours. So I forgot this. So if they are actually not just a meme coin community, but they're also a streaming platform, then the evaluation will be very new because then they're much more valuable, right? And they have 2 billion of budget to build up actually the streaming community. They're rewarding streamers very heavily. So if you stream on Pump.fun, you're getting, I guess, Pump token. I have to check it out myself. So, and this is, yeah, interesting. So I told you 3, and in the beginning of the video, I said I will tell you 4. I think number 4 we have talked already. 4 is Tau Bit Tanza, which is this hybrid between Bitcoin and AI, meaning that they basically forked Bitcoin. So it has got 21 million in supply, fixed supply. You can't do more. It is proof of work, same as Bitcoin. So you need Bitcoin mining machines to mine. And the first halving, I think they will have on the 11th of December or 11th of November, something like that, this year. So it will be the first halving. The price is already around 352 or something like that, or 25. And they are having, the way it works, it's quite complicated to get into it. So you have Bit Tanza, which provides the main token, which is Tau. And then you have subnets. What that means is you basically have specialized entities or companies or websites below it that are providing AI infrastructure or AI services. One of them, for example, provides tokens. You can go to the website and then on the website, you can pick different AI models. So you have all these AI models that you can pick from, everything you find on Hugging Face, for example, and you can use the platform with an API to power your application. So instead of ChatGPT, or instead of Perplexity, or instead of any other AI, you just use their API. And it's more than 10 times, in a lot of cases, even free, that you can use their application. So this is very useful. Then they have a different project where they basically have text-to-speech, meaning if you have an AI application that has to talk to you and reply, then you can also use one of the subnets. And they are very fast. There's one version which is very fast. So you can also use them instead of 11 Labs or some other thing. They have started to do decentralized storage and so on. So lots of stuff they're implementing. And many of very visionary venture capitalists are into Tau. This is really an interesting community. So a lot of believers there. Maybe this is not the right time now, but I have the feeling it's not the main time to go into it, but it will do very well because it has the AI narrative, and we will probably see the AI narrative now in this run to the end of the year. So I don't think it's a good idea to hold any of these assets I just told you after the bull market, meaning that when the bull market is at the peak, or if you already made quite some profits, then you should sell it. Don't hold it. The assets you can hold without any problem. Of course, you have downside, but I would hold Solana, Ethereum, Bitcoin, of course. But apart from that, it probably doesn't make any sense to hold anything else. Even if you say, okay, maybe SUI, maybe SUI, but if you have been in the markets, that everything will drop around 50%. So it doesn't make much sense to hold it. It's much better to try to get out at the top and then try to buy it cheap when there is the bear market. And then you have to wait and ramp it up. One more thing I wanted to talk about Solana is that now we see loads and loads of companies, also the NASDAQ and all the stock exchanges are starting to put their assets or using Solana technology because it is very fast and you also have the trust in the chain. And I have seen a very interesting video where one of these companies that are using or trying to switch now the stock company or all the stock trading to blockchain, that they're saying they can't really, first of all, you cannot use Ethereum. We all know this because it's much too much fees and much too slow. For the stock execution, it has to be very, very fast. This is the first problem. Second, you can't use a layer 2. There seems to be some legal situation where the executing company is somehow liable for the execution, meaning that if somebody sends an order from some terminal, then they have a certain, I don't exactly know how it works, but I assume they have a certain amount of time or they need to execute it in a certain amount of time. Otherwise, if they can't do it, there's somehow legal issues with that. So he said that this will also not work if it's doing a L2. So basically the only chain that is able to do this is Solana. And we know that they are talking about the fact that they very soon will have everything on the blockchain, trading 24/7. And just imagine what this will mean for Solana, this use case, and it will come. So this is very, very bullish for Solana. Ethereum, I'm not quite sure. I can imagine a world basically where you have all these fast things. They have to be on Solana. They could be on SUI as well, but they will be on Solana. And then maybe all this smart, I don't even know, because the fees are still a big problem in Ethereum. So if you tokenize, also depending what you tokenize, right? If you tokenize a house, nobody cares if you have $10 or $15 or $20 in transaction fees, Ethereum gas fees. So, but if you tokenize smaller things, this does not work, as we all know. I'm not sure how this will actually play out. But as we have seen with projects like Hyperliquid, also Pump.fun, they suddenly appear, and then in the case of Hyperliquid, they almost in not even a year take away so much market share from the biggest players that have millions and millions of revenue every day and thousands of employees. I think the Hyperliquid team is 8 or 11 people. And it's fascinating what can happen in such a short time. So what I wanted to say with that is we will see really how that develops. Maybe there will be a new player. Maybe it's Tau Bit Tanza, or maybe I don't know what it will be. So it will stay interesting. If you haven't bought into the market till now, these 4 coins, I will repeat them for you. Pengu, Pump.fun, Hyperliquid, Tau is more risky. So these 3, if you find a good entry, you should be able to make quite some profit. The narrative is very hot at the moment. These are the coins where the whales and everybody's pumping in the money, and all influencers are supporting the projects. As we have discussed, they are giving back almost everything to the community. This is the new way to play the game for the industry, I would say. I hope that was useful. Like always, I want to remind you, if you want to monitor the risk score yourself, because you need to understand, or you need to have some indication when the bull market is over, to be able to get out of the market when you need to get out. Otherwise, you will round trip, meaning you will just have loads of profits. You will wait, then it will be a little dip. You will say to yourself, no, it will go up again. Then there will be the next dip, next dip, next dip, next dip. Before you even have realized, you are in negative balances already, and you have missed the cash out, basically, right? So you need to understand when it is the right time to get out of the market. If you want to do that, go to Market Peak AI. There's a free version. You have all the data. The data is just 7 days delayed. I hope that was useful. I'll probably see you in my video today. Thanks for watching. Have a beautiful day and a nice start of your week. See you. Bye-bye.